Today, we are going to do one of Coach Tyler's favorite style of workouts. He says this is one of the reasons pro cyclists are so incredibly fast and are able to maintain that speed throughout the year. This is a type of workout that he does all the time to stay fit and continue to find gains into his later career. So what are these workouts and how do you do them? Well, today, Tyler took me through a brutal day of training with him, and we're going to break it all down for you. All the power, all the numbers. Let's get into it. So the morning started like any other morning that Tyler and I had gone on training rides together. We got the cameras ready because, we got to do it for the YouTubes. Tyler makes fun of my sick pink Velo toes and I clown his dad's slippers. And before we know it, it's time to roll. The idea for the day is race simulations, steady power efforts, and some sprinting spice sprinkled on top.
Instead of going out and hitting the lap button a million times today and doing it by ourselves, we're going to do some kind of like race speed lead out drills. Where we're going to do 4 times 6 to 8 minutes, judging on kind of where we're at in the ride, of like basically a 2-man pace line. And then at the end, we'll do 2 where you're sprinting and I'm leading out, and 2 where I'm sprinting, you're leading out. And then at the end, we'll just do Spring Mountain, which is a hard climb.
15 minutes.
Yeah, 15.
And then finish with a 3-minute full gas effort.
Yeah, I was hoping you were going to figure that out.
Well, Tyler may or may not get a KOM for you guys at the end.
If EJ leads me out, I could get a KOM.
I'll lead him out. So just like that, we were off for our first chop. I'll break down all the power numbers like I said because I know y'all will be interested in that. But before we dive into that, let's hear from Tyler on why these type of quote-unquote empty the tank days are so important and why training like this and with someone can heavily benefit your cycling process.
The reason I like training like that, you can't do it all the time because it basically is a race day. But as we're kind of getting into real like true preseason, and some people are already racing, I'm starting my season a little bit late, but I'm still kind of getting to the fitness period now where I kind of need to start doing those full maximum level efforts. The best way for me to do that, also in a sustainable way just for my own head, is instead of hitting the lap button on some crazy interval workout, I can go out with a buddy, and it helps if you're equal strength or sometimes someone's even a little stronger than you, and you're gonna be able to push yourself more doing race style simulation efforts like we were doing yesterday with pace lines into the lead out kind of thing. And then if you're feeling good, you go for the KOM like we did at the end or whatever, but you're always going to push yourself a little bit more with a friend. I used EJ yesterday to kind of like abuse a bit, but equally like that KOM level effort at the end, like probably wouldn't have done that if I wasn't with him. Well, and he made me do it for YouTube's sake, but then like I had the pressure of the people, right? Personally, I sometimes struggle in training to go to that like 11 out of 10 effort level, but that's what you need to do in a race. And with not having a ton of racing before I'm getting into like the stuff that I care about, the best way to do that is to go do what we did yesterday.
So as Tyler said, these days are incredibly important for training, especially if you don't have early season tune-up races. This kind of stimulation is much needed before you get into your peak races for the season. Iron sharpens iron. Doing days like these with buddies where you rip lead outs, race up climbs, and go for KOMs that fits the mold for the day is something I really enjoy. Race-based group rides and tune-up races can get the same effect, but sometimes doing these days like this with a group of buddies who all have the same goal and are all like-minded can reach a level of going deep that will go deeper than anything else you can do on the bike. That's what it is all about. So let's dive into what exactly we did today. So we start off the day with a warm-up at Zone 1, ramping up to Zone 2. Nothing crazy. A calm before the storm, if you will. Now, full transparency, I was quite nervous for today because, well, Tyler's incredibly strong, and I knew what was in store. And I didn't want to get dropped from the pace line and have that be on camera because, well, y'all would judge me. So I knew no matter how hard it got, I just had to push through. So as we rolled on one of our favorite roads for a bit, Chalk Hill, we both hit the lap button, and it was on.
We on? Yeah. All right.
The plan was to do a 7-minute chop, meaning we'd rotate taking pulls every 20 seconds. The pulls are to be at 450 to 500 watts. Then at the end of the 7 minutes, Tyler would ramp up the speed into a lead out with which I would jump off his wheel and sprint around. Man, this freaking hurt. We were absolutely flying through Chalk Hill and it took everything I had to hold on, let alone come around the end to sprint. I'll pop the power numbers up on the screen for the first chop. It was a pretty solid effort, and I was really happy with this. Now after, we recovered for a bit before it was time to go again. Same thing, rinse and repeat, but it was my turn to lead Tyler out. I felt much better in this round of the chop, kind of felt like I was settling in, and I was able to get a better draft behind Tyler this time, which helped me recover in between pulls, so I was able to stick around that 500 watts when I was on the front doing my pull. At the end, I ramped it up into a sprint to lead Tyler out, and then he came flying around me, putting down a massive sprint to finish the second set. We then went and did a 20-minute climb at tempo, followed by this sick descent. I'm going to chop up the descent with some B-roll for like 10 seconds so y'all get the idea of the vibes. I thought Tyler's camera captured this descent super well, so enjoy that for a second. Okay, so we added on that climb and loop just to make the most out of the day, get the most training stimulus we could. We definitely didn't full send it, but it was a good enough pace to feel a bit of a burn. Now after that, it was time to settle into our last 2 planned chops of the day. The first one was pretty full gas, especially with these little rollers we had here, because it was hard for me to recover due to the fact that Tyler has about 10-pound weight advantage on me. However, I did everything I could to hang. It was getting to the point where it's getting pretty dang tough to keep the numbers, but like Tyler said, got to do it for the YouTubes. So again, shout out to you guys for keeping me accountable. Well, all the way until my turn to sprint. Tyler ramped up for the lead out, and yeah, he dropped me because I just had nothing left. I could sustain that 500 number, but going over at the moment was a no-go. So into the last chop. It was my turn to lead out Tyler. I felt the best I had all day in this chop. I think mentally also knowing it was the last one was quite helpful for feeling that good. But we nailed the numbers, and I gave Tyler a good lead out going through a nice corner, and we got it done. He came around with an absolutely massive sprint to cap off those chops for the day. We then rewarded ourselves with a little coffee stop, and Tyler got this awesome looking maple bacon donut that he said gave him some superpowers for what was going to come next. Next on the agenda, we were going to race up this climb that we had to do to get home. It's about a 15-minute climb. I was actually able to get a little gap from Tyler at the start, but if you guys know anything about Tyler, he is a steady state king. He is so good at holding steady power, and he made quick work of me, catching me at the hardest part of the climb and then dropping me with ease. I am pretty stoked though with my effort up the climb after all we did today. A 389 watt effort for me after all those chops and everything. I will 100% take that. We then rested up, descending back towards home as we were going to finish off the day with one last effort that was pretty much going to take everything we had left and really empty that tank. There's a climb right by my house that I am a local legend on, and Tyler has been talking about taking down local hitter and former World Tour pro Peter Stetina and taking the KOM. It's about a 3-minute effort, pretty much full gas. My job was to get him up to speed on the bottom part before the climb as there was a massive headwind. So in order for me to get some good training out of the effort, we decided I would lead him out for about a minute to a minute and a half on the flats, then he would come around and send it up the climb, and well,
that was terrible.
He freaking got it. Nailed it. Got the KOM into a headwind. It's your turn now, Pete. What a way to cap off an amazing day. Anyway, that concludes our awesome day of training, and man, I'm not gonna lie, my legs were jello when I got home. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know if you want more videos like this. I guess we could call them training vlogs. I'm happy to just film our harder days of training sometimes and let you know why we do them. Anyway, we got a Sugarland group ride coming up this Saturday that I will film, and then we're headed to Chico Saturday night to do this huge underground road race Sunday morning called Pasquenta. This will be an awesome film. I'm super looking forward to that. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Tyler's coming up. Yeah. It's going to be a good time. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for the support as always. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll talk soon. Peace.